All right, welcome to Applied Math. This will be one of the first videos that you will watch. We'll do some stuff in class and some of the stuff we'll have videos on. This is over Unit 1, whole numbers. So the first thing I want to show you is what your book should look like, and yours doesn't have a cover like mine. It's not bound. Yours actually comes in a binder. You'll need to get a big binder to put this book in because yours will have 3 hole punches. And it's called Introductory Technical Mathematics. You can get it in the Witt bookstore. It's by John C. Peterson and Robert Smith. It is the 6th edition. That's important that you know it's the 6th edition. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. We're not going to cover everything in this book, but we'll cover a lot of stuff in this book, starting with Unit 1 today. And I'm going to go through everything in Unit 1, which is a very easy, simple review. We're just dealing with whole numbers, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing in the order of operations, which is really important for moving forward in this class. So what I recommend as you're watching the videos is that you get your notebook out and you write down everything that I write down. Put the page numbers down. If I refer to something in the book, you can pause the video and copy that down into your notes. What you're trying to do in a math class is you're trying to put all of this in your brain multiple times. And then after you put it in your brain, practice it. Put it in your brain, practice it. Put it in your brain, practice it. That's what you have to do. To put it in your brain, you have to listen to it. You have to watch it. You have to hear it. You have to write it down. All of those things, the more you do at once, the more chances you will have to basically remember how to do things. The more you practice it, the more you will remember how to do it. So, we're starting with whole numbers. And whole numbers, first thing we're going to talk about is place value. This is on page 2. And in page 2, at the very bottom of your book, we've got all of the list of place values. This would be a place where you want to pause and you want to take a look at in your book, because you probably can't see this very well on here to copy it down, but pause. Maybe you can zoom in or something on if you pause it and look at it, but we've got all of the positions. This is called place value. So if you have a big number, like place value, like, okay, I just wrote a bunch of digits down. Okay, so there's a big number. Now commas go, you start at the end here. This is where the decimal would go. Okay, that's where the decimal goes. There's a comma, count back 3, count 3 more, a comma, and a comma. So we put the commas in just to help us read it. Okay, so this is the units. Okay, that's the units. Okay, ones. Sometimes it's referred to as the ones digit. This would be the tens, hundreds. Okay, this 2 is the thousands. Then this 1 is the 10,000s. The 0 is the 100,000s, and I'm just abbreviating here. Okay, the 7 is the millions. Then this is the 10 millions, the 100 millions. And then that one would be the billions. All right, so those are all the place values. So if we just look at some examples, example 1.2, basically if you've got your book next to you, you should see 1-2 is called expanding whole numbers. And basically, we don't really need to expand whole numbers a whole lot. But if you're going to expand a whole number, an example, let's say we've got, just look at some examples in your book, okay? So this is from exercise 1-2 down here. If I just want to write the place value for the specified digit of each number given in the table. So then if you look at number 3, the digit is 3 and the number is 139. So where is the 139? Well, 139 only has 3. It only has 3 place values. So on my place value chart that you look at, you only look at these 3. It's only got the hundreds, the tens, and the units. Okay, so you start always at the right end of your place value table with your answers. This is where the decimal is in the place value table. So in our number 139, our decimal is right here after the 139. So where is the 3? The 3 would be in the tens position. So I would just write tens position. Okay, So then if I wanted to expand a number, so I've got different numbers to expand down here. So let's just take a number like number 17. Okay, so number 17, they want to know, how do you expand 857? Well, basically 8 is 800, so this is 8 times 100. That's in the hundreds position. 5 is in the tens position, so plus 5 times 10. And then 7 is in the ones or unit position, so plus 7 times 1. If you actually work this out on your calculator, multiply that, that'll give you 800 plus 50 plus 7. It's the same as 857. That's expanding a whole number. Next section that we want to move to is estimating. Estimating is in 1.3. And whenever you're estimating or rounding, you look at the digit next to you. So if you have the number 637 and you want to round it to this position, to the nearest hundred, round to, nearest 10. I want to round it to this position, I round to the nearest 10. I look at the number on the left, look at that number, okay? And that number is either going, well, that number is going to go to, this number is going to change to a 0, okay? If I'm going to round to the nearest 10, this number is actually going to change to a 0. But what I have to decide is this 3 going to go up to a 4 or stay 3? Go up to 4 or stay 3? That's my question. 7 changes to 0. And this is how you round to basically any position. Okay, so the number I'm rounding to is going to either stay where it's at or go up 1. That's my only option. And the 7 will change to a 0. So how do I decide? It goes up to 4 if that number next to it, okay, if the number next to it, if that number is greater than or equal to 5. It stays 3 if it's less than 5. Every time, that's how you decide. So whatever position you want to round to, you look at the number next to it, you say, is that greater than 5? Yep, that goes to a 4, so this would round to 640. If it's less than 5, then it stays 3, and it would be 630. So another example might be 8480 if I wanted to round it to the nearest thousandth. Nearest thousandth would be right there. That's either going to stay 8 or go to 9. Everything else is going to change to a 0. Whatever position you're rounding to, everything after it's going to go to a 0 after you decide to round, which way to go. So I look at the number next to it. The 4 is less than 5, so that stays in 8. Everything else becomes 0. All right, now we need to move to adding and subtracting whole numbers. So adding and subtracting whole numbers, well, adding is nice because you can do it in any order. We've got a property called the commutative property, and that basically says that 3 plus 2 is the same as 2 plus 3. Okay, what I recommend is that you read through your book. Your book's really easy to read through. Okay, and subtracting is not commutative. Okay, you can't subtract. 3 minus 2 is not equal to 2 minus 3, that's for sure. Okay, so adding whole numbers, you can kind of rearrange it and make it easier for you, add in a different order, but subtracting, you can't switch things around. So if we just look at a couple examples, and we're just going to jump right to some word problem examples. So adding and subtracting whole numbers and some word problem examples. So from your book, we're on exercise, actually this is 1/6 and 1/7. Okay, we're going to be looking at some problems in 1/7. 1/6 is where they have they talk about problem solving, how to problem solve in 1/6. So I should put that up here so you can see that. So in 1/6 in your book, they talk about on page 9 the steps for problem solving. So if I've got a problem to solve, right down here on page 9, it tells you exactly what to do. It says read the entire problem several times if necessary until you understand what it states and what it asks. Understand each part of the given information, determine how the given information is related to what can be found. If the problem is complex, break it down into simpler parts. Sometimes it's helpful to make a simple sketch to help visualize the various parts and then estimate the answer. A few more steps. Calculate or compute the answer, write your computations carefully and neatly, check your work to make sure you've not made a computational error. Check your answer step by step against the statement of the original problem. Did you answer the question that is asked? And always ask yourself, does my answer seem sensible? If not, recheck your work. So we're just going to take a look at, I'm just going to walk through this example on 1-7 just because all the steps are there, and then we'll look at a couple examples below. When we get done with this, the first video will probably be over. First video will be over adding, subtracting whole numbers, place value, and word problems. And then the second video will move into multiplying and dividing in order of operations. So we've got the production schedule for a manufacturing plant calls for a total of 2,370 parts to be completed in 5 weeks. Okay, the number of parts manufactured during the first 4 weeks are 382, so week 1 is 382, week 2 is 417, week 3 is 485, and week 4 is 508. So I just kind of made a list of everything. How many parts must be produced in the 5th week to fill the order? So basically, as I read the problem, I kind of wrote down information on my paper. So I need to make this many parts. I have 5 weeks, so I only have this week left. This is the last week. This is how many parts I've made so far. We want to know how many here. So we need to, I don't necessarily go through and estimate the answer. If I know how to compute it, I just go through and compute the answer. Basically, I know that I need to add these up to see how many I've made so far. So I get a calculator out, and well, actually I don't even get a calculator out. I just line them up. So if I'm going to add all of these up, you're welcome to get a calculator out and use it. That's fine. If I add these up, I line up the far and the right side of the numbers, and I just add 2 plus 7 is 9, 9 plus 5 plus 8. I just do this on my calculator, and I get 22. So I write the 2 down here, and I carry the tens digit up to the tens column. So then I add 2 plus 8 is 10, plus 1 is 11, plus 8 is 19. So I bring the ones digit down and I bring that new tens digit up above here. So then that is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 plus 5 is 17. So far I've made 1,792. So what do I need to make the 5th week? Well, I know that I need a total of 2,370. So in order to fill that order, I need to subtract that. So 2370 minus 1792, 76, all right. I'm just subtracting out. Now I can't take 0 minus 2, so I have to borrow 1 from here to make it 6, change that to a 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. Now I have to borrow 1 from the 3 to make that 2. So that's 6, I put that as the tens digit here, so this is 16 minus 9, which is 7. Now 2 minus 7 I can't do, so I have to borrow 1 from the 2, so that becomes 1, and that 2 becomes 12. 12 minus 7 is 5, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So I have to make 578 parts in week 5. So I got a lot of work to do because I haven't made that near that well. I've kind of just been improving every week. So let's take a look at another example down below. A sheet metal contractor, number 2 down below. A sheet metal contractor has 124 feet of band iron in stock. An additional, so he has 124 feet. An additional 460 feet are purchased. Buys 460 feet. On June 2nd, 225 feet are used, so used 225 feet. I don't think the date's important. On June 4th, 197 feet are used, so then I used 197 feet. How many feet of band iron are left on June 4th? Okay, so we had that, we bought that, we used those. How much is left now? Well, all I have to do is add those two together, so I'm going to add those two together. That's how much I have. 4 plus 0 is 4. 2 plus 6 is 8. 1 plus 4 is 5. So I have 458. I'm going to add these two. So that's 12, carry the 1. 9, 10, 11, 12, carry the 1. 422 feet. So now I'm just going to subtract these. So just to find out how much I have left, 584 minus 422. 4 minus 2 is 2. 8 minus 2 is 6. 5 minus 4 is 1. I have 162 feet left. All right, that'll conclude the first video over Unit 1. There'll be a second video over Unit 1 for you to watch.